live as well. Just for the benefit of the participants who are joining in now, we are starting in about a minute. Tanzila, I think you can start now.
You can start?
Yeah,
okay.
You can. We'll allow
am I audible, Bala? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah, you're perfectly clear, Pratik.
Okay, sure.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Retail Tech Masterclass, presented to you by Freshworks, powered by Bluecoin, and partnered by Retail Association of India. We thank all our partners, Train, Brandify, Rainmakers, and Academy 10X for their support. This is Tanzila here, Business Head of Academy 10X. Academy 10X is India's leading edutech ecosystem for entrepreneurs and senior executives in retail, SME, and startup sectors. Warm greetings to all of you present. In today's webinar, we're going to look at an omni-channel approach for retail success. In recent times, we came across a lot of online players seeking offline presence to expand their business. Similarly, small businesses looking to expand online, especially in the current situation. When there are various ways to do this, what is the best way to reach out to customers in all ways possible, and how to achieve this effectively is what we're going to understand today. We have Mr.Pratik Shah of Specsmakers giving out his key learnings, and Mr.Fredrick, Lawerance, Senior Product Consultant of Freshworks, who are going to explain in detail about going omni-channel. Our resource person for the day is the founder of UMM Digital, giving you a detailed approach to this topic. Along with them, we have Mr. Balachandar, founder of Wassup, and also the curator for this event to take the session forward. Over to you, Bala.
Yeah, thank you, Tanzila, for that introduction. Good evening, guys. I think we have the crowd still logging in as we talk. A warm welcome to all of you who have joined in today to understand about Omni-Channel. As you know, this is part of the larger series that we are doing with Freshworks called the Retail Tech Masterclass. And today, the discussion topic is Omni-Channel. And yes, I hope you guys can hear me. I hope I'm clear. So if you can hear me, I would like you guys to probably use the chat box and say good evening to all the panelists who are here as well. So that will kind of help and also get some interactivity going. Yes, Courtney, good evening. Okay, Jagan, good evening. Yes, Amit, yes. Thanks. So that we've got that going. So the format is next 1.5 hours. You will have a learning session on what Omni-Channel is, what are the different aspects of Omni-Channel, how do you quickly move from an offline player, being an offline player, to an Omni-Channel player. So we have 3 sessions primarily. First, we have the keynote by Pratik, and then we have the resource session by Santhosh, and then we have Fredrick talking about how actually Freshworks can help add Omni-Channel to your retail business. So coming to the keynote, I think it's very, we wouldn't have been able to get a more apt or appropriate person than Pratik Shah, founder and CEO of Specsmakers. Specsmakers, as we know, is a brand that we are proud of from Chennai, and not just Chennai, expanding across the south with over 300 stores. And what's been remarkable in the last 3 months with Pratik is that as retailers kept complaining that, we don't have sale, offline customers are not coming, Pratik quickly shifted gears and pivoted into Omni-Channel and became also an online player to increase his sales from online channel as well. So this has resulted in a vast shift in the balance from dependency on being a purely offline to also an omni-channel player, and thereby leverage the risk, that COVID has put across to him. So that's something we would want to hear from Pratik today, and I thought that will be of benefit to the retailers. And also, his success in moving so quickly into omni-channel has resulted in his existing investors backing him with one more round of funding to actually further the digital transformation that's happening in Pratik. So warm welcome, Pratik. Thanks a lot for agreeing to come. And
thanks, Bala.
And without much delay, I think what we want to hear from you is, we all here, most of them who have joined in are traditional retailers with a retail mindset. Dukaan kholna hai, cash we have to collect and then close the dukaan, right? So that's the mindset. Now, how do we change the mindset to become an omni-channel player? And what have you done in your experience to actually make the shift? Over to you, Pratik.
Yeah, thanks, Bala, and thanks, panelists, and thank you to all the participants who've taken the time out to hear me out. But I think my journey of being a digital entrepreneur is just very short right now. It's just been about a couple of quarters into it, but I'll take you through the reasoning and what we've done and how we've been successful and what are the challenges we are facing. I think being a 300 store company and from day one focusing on saying that this category, which is eyewear, is not an online category because customers really need to try out their products and they want to have the touch and feel of the products. And I still do believe that this cannot be a complete online business. So hence we were always skeptical against the move of being a just online player to being more of an offline player. Deep diving into each city and opening more number of stores. But I think it was early November 2019 when we realized that, when I was going through my customer surveys and, I do quite a bit of customer related calls with my consumers, where people wanted to basically understand while they are wanting to know your brand and your products, they wanted to see what kind of products you're selling in the store. So we took a first transition of converting our entire product catalog into a lookbook, which is available online, where the customer cannot actually buy it online, but he can see what products we are carrying in the stores. So before the customer visits the store, he gets to feel what kind of collection you are carrying, what is the kind of merchandising that you're going to have in the store, where are your stores located. Everything was so accessible on the mobile, and more than 93% of the traffic coming. So we completely moved from ATL, BTL marketing into completely digital marketing of acquiring customers online, but transacting offline. It's not necessary that people who buy online only browse online. Till date, people who browse online also buy offline. So we started actually reaching out to consumers through our Facebook and Google advertising algorithms of, acquiring customers at the online space, doing some campaigns around the online space and asking them to drive the traffic to the store. So today I know I can do a targeted marketing in Hubli, around 5 kilometers of my store, to the consumers who are online shoppers, who are news readers, who are computer gamers. It gives you all that breakup. So while we were actually going ahead and acquiring customers online, we were not able to transact all the customers offline because maybe they did not see the product catalog online, or they just saw it's another brand. So the first transition we took is between November, December, and Jan. We converted our entire merchandise and product portfolio into being available online. Not, you cannot buy it, but you can see it, right? It's like a housing website. You can see the houses, but you can't buy them online, right? So, and we completely became a quasi e-commerce company, where we said that, okay, everything is now available. Customer can see our products, and especially our store locator was very easy to use at that point in time because the mobile will identify your current location, and when you search for the nearby Specsmakers store, it will show you within the next 5 kilometers where is your nearest store. You click on directions, the Google map opens up, and you can visit my store very easily. We have a very good another technology where we take the IP address of your mobile, and if you visited our store seeing the ad, the Google algorithm in the backend will say this customer saw the ad on the website on particular Google display and actually visited your store. Everything is linked to the phone number. So we know what is the transaction happening also because of the advertising. But we were not a very e-commerce driven company. We were just, still we focused on brick and mortar. We were in the process of, adding up another 100 stores this year. We were already at 292 by December end. And the plan was to add another 100 stores this year. I think the foresight of, projecting what the future is going to be is not that it's God gifted, but intuition, basically. When I heard about the COVID striking in China, I had just returned from China in mid of December. And it was the end of December when we got to know that COVID is struck in China, in Wuhan, because we have so many Chinese suppliers and, and it was spreading into the other towns also where our factories are located, where our suppliers are located. So, I mean, me and my wife just kind of intuitively thought that if this is spreading and this can become a pandemic, do you think it will spread into the other parts of the world, right? And just having that foresight and just trying to be more double sure about that, things should not get impacted. We said that, let us even start our online, because, if there is any kind of hindrance tomorrow and, any kind of issues tomorrow, we should be well prepared. But more than that, I think it was more of me meeting quite a bit of new investors who are keen in investing in our company. And we had launched a Series B round, you know. And in the Series B round, everybody was comparing us to competition, saying that why are you not online? Why are you not omni-channel? You think these are the lot of avenues that we are missing out, You're the second largest player in the country, but you should also be there. So a lot of feedback from international investors and, investors in India opened up a can of opportunities, saying that, when we have to really go online, let's start it now. So we started developing our online website in January, and we were almost ready by March 10th. But we were just in the beta phase and just testing it out. And as we got closer to 15th, and we started seeing a drop in footfalls in the store, because I think the COVID was kind of settling in into India, and people were talking about it. We started seeing a huge drop in footfalls in the stores. So I think our team basically spent about 7 to 8 days continuously in kind of putting together all the payment gateways, all the products, the listing, the categories, and all that. And we became almost 70% live online. You know the and we said, okay, fine. Now we are also an online company, but online is just not about having a website and putting your products. The lockdown struck on March 24th, and 24th to 31st. So basically, I was figuring out what to do with the business first, rather than being online or offline. First, you have to be in the business, right? So we first figured out what to do in the first 7 days. I think the entire April, I think I'll give the credit to my entire team and my wife, who basically took the online channel completely on themselves. We all were working remotely from home. We were more busy in the lockdown than we'd ever been busy even during a normal working day. So we spent about 12 to 16 hours per day of working and developed the entire website of writing content, creating the flow through for the customer, understanding Google Analytics, advertising online. So if we were doing, I'll just give a hypothetical example. I can't give you the sales figures, but if we were doing 1 rupee of sales online in March, today we are doing 1,000 rupees of sales online. So we've grown like 1000x. Okay, so we basically went from doing 1 order a day to doing about 100 orders a day now. So that's the kind of growth that we are seeing in the online space. And yes, when the lockdown happened, the consumer couldn't come to you, so you have to go to the consumer. And the only way to go to the consumer is everybody was hooked on to their mobiles and their laptops. Everybody is working from home. Nobody is stepping out. So the only way possible is you have to go to the consumer. Yes, there was no deliveries happening because you're not an essential product. So e-commerce deliveries will not happen. The moment from April 14th, e-commerce deliveries started to be allowed to deliver, I think we took permissions and opened up our Chennai lab. Now, the advantage of being a manufacturer yourself, this is another advantage where the entire vertical supply chain is handled by you. So we not only had our own frames, we also have our own lenses. So we could actually do the entire product supply chain to the consumer, and that was very easy. So this is the part about what did we do to become online. People have a lot of website related tools like Magento, React, Shopify. I think as a beginner and at an early stage, I think I was very comfortable working with Shopify. One, it's a plug and play model. Anything that you need of tools in Shopify is available. You can plug in your customer care, you can plug in your payment system, you can plug in your review system, you can plug in your content system. Everything is very easy to plug and play. So our website didn't take more than 30 days to get ready. And in Shopify, it's very easy for you to play around. Even if I'm not a tech guy, I'm not a programmer, but today I have enough knowledge that I can play around on Shopify. It's very simple and easy, and that's a fantastic platform Shopify has built. We don't have a tech team yet, so our dependency on the tech team is still very zero, right? And we said that once we reach to about large numbers online, we will go ahead and develop it on another platform. But I don't need it right now. We have started developing our app, which is again through Shopify. Shopify's got tools where it converts your existing website into an app very easily. And Shopify, the beauty is everything is so SaaS built. It's monthly charges. It's not like huge capex. It's far easy to spend 30-40,000 rupees a month and do business rather than spending 30-40 lakhs on a website and then not knowing that it's not working. So I think Shopify has really answered that for us. Shopify is able to integrate with Amazon, Flipkart, Tata Click, Myntra, all the other marketplaces. So the next decision we took is to go on marketplaces. Marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Myntra, Tata Click, where it's the same product. You got your product right. Now your product is available in your store, available on your website. It is available on Amazon. It is available on Flipkart. It's the same product image that is sold in different channels completely. So that's the advantage we saw of becoming an online player. One of the key elements that I saw in online is reaching the customer is very easy, but acquiring the customer is very difficult. Your CAC. Now, earlier in retail, we talk about OPEX, retail cost, employee cost, what is your rental, but in one metric that I learned in online is CAC, customer acquisition cost, right? What are you taking to acquire that customer to buy online? And how many times is the customer coming back to you? What's the repeat purchase? Your packaging has to be very good. So as you become an omni-channel player, you got to understand the tools of omni-channel. I just written it down over here. I think one of the key tools that I use is Shopify. I use for my website. So for my app, I'm basically using Shopify again. The key elements that the tools that I link with Shopify is customer care, design, content, Facebook advertising, Google advertising, anything that you do in PPM, paid marketing, results into sale. If you spend 1 lakh today, you will get 1 lakh in sales. The advantages, if you spend 1 lakh, you have to get 2 lakhs in sales. That's what your optimization will work to. And how are you optimizing it? It only happen by, your engine. So online is basically a well-oiled engine that needs a lot of oiling every day. That's very important in online. So I think we've now added a couple of people on our e-commerce team. We've created another vertical in the business. Our business has been growing. In fact, it's doubling month on month right now. Our stores have also opened. We never had access to customers outside our stores earlier. Today, we have 22% of our orders coming from Maharashtra, 10% of our orders coming from the north of India, and still 50% comes from the south because we are a familiar brand. Maybe organic reach is happening better, but it's making the consumers so easy to access my product online and also transact with it offline. We have gone on Amazon Launchpad where we are going to launch our entire collection over there. We are working with Flipkart right now. So it's just been May, June, July, 3 months that we've actually ventured into the omni-channel space. And one of the other things that we are also looking at is if your product portfolio is available on the internet, you can start sending samples to your B2B partners, and you can also allow them to transact your product from their mobile phone. So what we are working on right now is we are planning to partner with a lot of opticians pan-India, where the product will be available in their store as a sample, but they can do a transaction on the website. So they can show the sample to the customer to try it on, but transact online with it so that they don't have to keep investing on stock again and again. So we're trying to work on a sample to transaction kind of a model. So that's the key omni-channel approach that I've followed. I think it's just 1% of what I am there right now. The goal is to at least take the e-commerce business to 10% of our overall business to pre-COVID numbers. I think at an offline level, consumers are now stepping out, but there are a lot of consumers today who are still wanting to work from home and transact from home. During this entire space, we launched a very good category called Blue Zero, which is the computer glasses for kids and adults. So that as a category worked very, very well for us. So while you're also online selling, you need to develop new categories that is easy for the consumer to buy. The entire process of buying for the consumer should be 1, 2, 3. It should not be a very complex process. Select a frame, select a lens, check out. You can't have too many complications of making the customer buy online, because consumers don't spend too much time online when they have to transact. Thanks to COVID, there's no more COD. Everybody is buying online by paying upfront. I'm sure if I add COD as a payment gateway, my sales will go up another 5 times. But then the returns will also shoot up quite heavily, knowing the kind of consumer mindsets we have over here. But we've been very aggressive and very happy with the omni-channel space. And I think we are doing so many things on omni-channel of, acquiring customers and building leads and databases. We were taking appointments online. We're able to understand the behavior of our customer online. Where is he clicking? So it's so much of a new territory to me and so much of a new learning for me. But I'm not the master at it. So, as a business decision, I've taken a decision to hire a very senior person, you know, who can basically drive this vertical, because this is not just one person's job. So we are in the process of recruiting a very senior talent, somebody, at a CXO level in the company. We are looking out for good people, but we are building our team now, and the investment is going there towards the team. I think with the omni-channel approach and with the online approach and with us reaching out to so many people, there has been a huge interest from a lot of new investors across the globe who've shown interest in our business, saying that because you are a brick and mortar, today you're a click and mortar, right? So everybody is too keen about it, of looking at the business, because you're reaching out to more number of people. We are launching our website in the US. We are in August. By October, we are launching in the US, because your product is ready. It's all about your logistics and shipping. So we are going to ship products from here to the US. It's not too expensive to ship it. So you get the globe to your feet, right? You can supply your glasses anywhere. So we have gone ahead and registered Specsmakers.us. We are looking at just opening up a small warehouse over there just for documentation reasons. But we are going to start logistics from here along with our partner. So we use delivery for our entire logistics. We use DHL for our international transactions. We are in talks with the customer support team at Freshworks to bring in the chatbot. We are using something else right now. WhatsApp for Business is working very good. We are also bringing in something where customers can actually transact through WhatsApp and place orders through WhatsApp. We are developing the WhatsApp for Business for us. We are also building a chatbot where customers can basically transact with that particular store manager in a store using WhatsApp, using the location. So there's so much of technology involved that I need to go back to college to learn all this, and there's no time. So that's the long and short, Bala, of what we've done and how we've done. But I'm happy to take questions on some specific tools that I'm using, and I'm happy to really share my knowledge. Yeah.
Thank you, Pratik, for coming and sharing out openly and how your transformation from a purely offline player to online has been. I think it's also largely got to do with the mindset, right? And we all knew that it was coming, but unless there was a situation like COVID, the change wouldn't have been so possible. And of course, it helps that consumers are also looking at now buying online. But Pratik, is omni-channel? How did you enable your current legacy? Softwares that you had, your POS and your CRM. When you changed to online and made it virtual inventory?
Yeah, so I run 2 parallel engines right now. Okay. Because I am not able to integrate my existing POS and ERP into Shopify. That is a 2 to 3 month process of APIs and integrations. So for us, it is 2 different verticals, but the warehouse is the same. So what we've done in the warehouse is we've bifurcated the warehouse and the product collection for online and offline. So we are running the online engine as a separate warehouse, as a separate vertical, separate POS, and a separate system altogether. Yeah.
More or less like a separate startup. It's
a separate cost center in the company. Yeah, it is a separate startup in the company. So my allocation of manpower, my allocation of advertising, my allocation of people is everything over there separately. It is nothing mixed with the brick and mortar business. The only differentiator over here right now is once we link the ERP and the Shopify platform, then everything works under one roof. Yeah.
So that's the goal. That's where you want to move.
Oh yeah, that is the goal. We are working towards that. Yeah.
So how do you find the customer change that's for your category? What's typically that you're seeing among customers that people are now okay to buy online? Certain things we were very finicky. We wanted to come.
I think I was wrong when I decided to say that I should not be selling online. I think it's an opportunity lost for the last 2 years. But obviously, it is the mindset of the customer also. If there was no COVID, I don't think we would have seen so much traction online. It's also the market environment and the scenario. People are forced to buy online today. I know my granddad uses Paytm at 84. Okay, it's just that you were very apprehensive to doing digital transaction. Now you are forced to do it, and when you're forced to do it, you're not worried about anything else, but you want the transaction to happen, right? Like we use Razorpay and PayU for all our payments online. Like in the stores also today, we are moving into digital invoice. We don't want to spend on paper. In the stores today, we are using PayU, where basically we are allowing the customer to, not even give his credit card and swipe. He can use the QR code, scan in, go put in the credit card number and transact. So it is made very easy for us in terms of contact lens payment. And plus, I think we are enjoying this because there's less cash and there's less pilferage to handle cash. Yeah.
So Pratik, when you move a business model from a online P&L to something of an omni-channel P&L, how does the P&L now look? How does a businessman recorrect that whole numbers, projections, what you've made?
The P&L is the DNA of the entrepreneur. If you want to run it as profit, you can run it as profit. If you want to run it as loss, you can run it as loss. So the DNA hasn't changed. It's just for me, online is another vertical. We still don't burn money online. We transact positively online. We look at something called RCOS, which is return on ad spend, right? So when you're spending 1 rupee, are you getting 1.5 rupee in sales? If I get even 90 rupees in sales for 100 rupees spent, I don't like it, right? So we try to optimize it more. So return on ad spend is really very important. Organic traffic grows anyways, it comes. But yeah, you want to keep having the hunger to keep growing and acquiring new customers. And that's why you keep spending on marketing. And when you're a new brand and when there is only one other person in the market who's actually online, you have to reach out to people to make them realize that you're also there. And I think we've been successful over there, but obviously we're not a tech company yet. So we don't want to use tech valuations. We don't want to go for tech valuations or anything. The aspiration is not to be a tech valuation company. The aspiration is to be an omni-channel company that is easy for the consumer to access at any point in time. I think within 2 or 3 months, you'll also be like, if you just send a WhatsApp to a WhatsApp business number, your entire product catalog can be seen on your phone.
Absolutely, that's very good. So, the benefit of the viewers who don't know, this is the second transformation that Pratik has gone through. He's actually, you're a second generation from Venkateswara Opticals family business, then modernized Specsmakers into a scalable and fundable model, and now transforming himself digitally. So great, Pratik. Wonderful to see you make all these changes. And before you leave, I'd like, most of the guys here who are there on this webinar are physical retailers. So your thoughts and your advice for them, how they should change, what they should do next 60 days.
I think it is very, very essential, whether the COVID washes out or the COVID comes back or whatever happens. Your shop is not the only place where you can sell. Your product has to be available in all the places where you want to sell. I think every mom and pop retailer today should have an Amazon account and sell on the marketplace. I think Amazon is the best marketplace you can ever think of. It's getting more than 10 to 20 million customers a day. It's like the largest shopping mall you can think of. Okay. Now, if your customer is going to Amazon and buying, you please open up a store on Amazon. Okay. You can't go to Amazon and say that you are selling it cheaper or something. If you want to sell your product, please go ahead and sell it on Amazon. That's really important. And also develop your own website, at least an app or a tool or a WhatsApp for business, for simple reasons. Customer coming to the store is only going to come after he finds out about your store and sees the product outside the store. Today, I know that, we went on and launched Google reviews in all our stores. I was surprised to see that on average, we get 400 to 500 Google reviews a day. So there is a backend customer team that only tracks people who gave us a lower rating for whatsoever reason. Call them up immediately and say, sir, what happened? Let us solve it for you. Getting a happy customer is your responsibility. Solving a bad customer is a priority. So if there is a bad rating, please go chase the customer and say, what happened, sir? because not every store will behave the same way. You have about 300 stores and 1,000 staff working. Maybe some staff had a bad day at home, he didn't take care of the customer, right? But it's your duty from the back end to take care of the customer and apologize if there is an issue. So I think we've been only focusing on customer experience, customer feedback, customer service, whatever we can to do for the customer. And you're able to reach the customer online very well through feedback, through review system, through NPS score, through email. Even if today you go buy in a store, the email written on the bill is a CEO at Specsmakers. It comes to me if a customer is unhappy. So it's not about pulling up your staff, but making them realize that you're actually watching every sensitive point in the transaction. And Omni-Channel is here to stay. I request everybody to please start. And Shopify is the easiest. It's less than $20 a month, on developing the site. It's super easy. You can build a site in 48 hours if you have the content ready. And it's a cakewalk to work on Shopify. Trust me. So there's a question from somebody who said, how do you reach your customers to come and shop online? I think you have to do paid advertising through Google and Facebook. Facebook works very well for everybody. WooCommerce is a competition to Shopify, but Shopify, so there are a lot of businesses outside who depend on Shopify, which is the apps and everything. That's the tools. You have Wix, you have WooCommerce, you have Shopify. These are the people who have a ready-made platform. How much does it charge to put up a website from Shopify? I think it's about $19 per month. That's about it for 5 users. I pay about $79 a month. Now we are upgrading to $300 a month because our number of users also have gone up quite high. And plus we are needing more staff accounts in the back end. Yeah.
So it's more of plug and play, easy to use when you're starting off, and then when you graduate.
Your Shopify is like your WeWork. You don't have to invest on any furniture. Just take your laptop and go. You can start working from a shared workspace. Shopify is something like that. It's awesome. I think it's one of the best tools that's developed for the entire world.
Amazing. I think they've also gained a lot of value in the recent times, Pratik.
Yeah.
Yeah. So amazing to hear your transformation story, Pratik, and thanks a lot for taking the time and
sure, Bala.
sharing it with us.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will keep,
we always keep in touch.
Any further information. Thanks, Pratik. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Bala, and thank you, panelists, and thank you everybody else for taking out the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So attendees, we'll move on to the core session of today, which is the resource session, which is from Santhosh Palavesh. And as we say bye to Pratik, yes, you can leave in your thanks to Pratik on the chat box. So now we have our core session for the day, which is Santhosh Palavesh's resource session. Santhosh, you can switch on your mic. So Santhosh is a digital guru, and he is somebody who many of you have seen him across the platform in the last 3 months. He is a person who learns so much about digital and digital transformation that he is aware of most of the aspects of digital. He's the founder of UMM. I'll now leave it to him. He will introduce himself and then take you on right into the session. So we have next 40 minutes for you, Santhosh. 5-10, we can look at it. Over to you.
Right. So thank you, Bala. Thank you, Bala. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
So thank you, Bala, for the introduction. And I think Pratik gave a very nice way. I think he expressed the entire journey in a very nice manner, right? So he didn't make things feel like it was a tough thing to do and etc. Right? So I like the speech very much on that, right? So I think that's very informative, right? So kudos to Pratik on that. So hi guys, welcome on board. I think this is the third webinar in the retail tech series that we are doing right now. I think last time we covered WhatsApp commerce and how to enable WhatsApp for business and stuff, right? So this week we are covering the omni-channel for retail success, right? So I think Pratik has given a good message on the importance of businesses going digital, right? Okay, but what is digital? What is multi-channel? What is omni-channel? What is this very highly overrated word called omni-channel? How do we enable omni-commerce? Should I need a consultant or should I need a a third-party vendor or etc. Right? So I'll cover certain bits of this, but before we move into the presentation, so let me give a quick brief about myself. So I'm Santhosh Palavesh. I'm the founder and CEO of UMM Digital. We are a digital transformation firm enabling a lot of businesses, offline business, to go digital by helping them in consulting, developing mobile applications, e-commerce applications, websites, That's one aspect. And the other aspects of helping them to do digital marketing, how to set a digital marketing KPI, how do you generate a digital marketing funnel, then how to do effective SEO, social media, creatives, viral marketing, influencer marketing, etc., right? So that's what my company does. And I started the company back in 2008, and it's been a good 12 years. Right now, I've worked across the globe for a lot of clients, and I'm on a personal level, I'm a very hands-on guy on digital, and I spend almost an hour or two on a daily basis to study about latest trends. How do you keep yourself on the top when it comes to the digital side of things, and etc. So that's my brief background, right? So now let me quickly move on to the crux of the session today. So, okay, before I jump into the discussion, I would like to understand from participants, like how many of you guys are in offline, and are you an offline retailer, and how many of you guys are seriously looking forward to go omni-channel? How many of you guys are offline retailers, and how many of you guys are seriously considering to take your business on digital? Okay, Sricharan Rangarajan says yes, we are an omni-channel, right? Offline only right now, but looking for online sales. Aditya Prasad says that when I going digital, Kishore George, right? Okay, great. So I'm seeing that yes, we are offline retailer, we are omni-channel. Right. So yeah, I'm getting a good number of answers here. Okay, but let's look at some of the key factors that we really need to consider when we look at taking a business to omnichannel. Yeah. Okay. Now, so the content of this particular webinar, okay, the next 40 minutes is going to cover on this angle. Right. So number one is what is omnichannel. Right. The number two is the difference between multi-channel and omnichannel, because a lot of retailers are still getting confused between a multi-channel and omnichannel. Right. And then what can omnichannel solution do for your business? And then I want to emphasize on the 7 factors that's actually, that you need to look at before going omnichannel, right? So these are the 7 factors. Number 1 is understanding your omnichannel customer. Number 2, your payment channels. Number 3, your smartphone and how do you leverage your smartphone to the fullest. Number 4 is the payment integration. Number 5 is customer service data. Number 6, security. And number 7, agile strategy, right? So I'm going to touch upon all this. Now let's get into the basics of it first, right? So I hope you guys can see the slide in front of me. Okay, so there are single channel, there is multi-channel, there is cross-channel, and then there is omni-channel, right? So people think I'm either a single channel or an omni-channel directly, right? It's not the case there. Okay, now if you see this chart down here, so there is a pure play retailer that's in the blue. There is a brick and mortar only, that's pink, right? So this pure play retailer, we are talking about websites like Flipkart and etc., who are a pure play e-commerce, who don't have physical stores, who only sell it online, right? There are pros and there are cons of it. Brick and mortar or traditional brick and mortar, where there is a shop, there is a showroom, there is a retail outlet, and where you sell only to that. The limitations of it being you will only be able to service in your locality, in your city, maybe, or across your branches everywhere, right? So omni is a mix of both, right? Now, how do you marry brick and mortar as well as with pure play retailer, right? So that's the region where omni channel comes in there, and it takes time to completely transition, right? So one of the biggest, I would say the miscom that a lot of retailers have is immediately try to take their business as an e-commerce business. No, you need not, right? So for e-commerce, the economics work in a very different manner. And for brick and mortar who want to leverage digital and become an omni-channel, the economics work in a different manner. Now, we all know Flipkart to be where it is. They spent quite a rupee, quite some money on getting customers. They burnt money, investors' money back and forth to generate that brand equity. That's a slightly riskier game. That's a larger game that we're not going to discuss today. But today we're going to discuss more on how a brick and mortar store can, leverage digital and become an omni-channel experience thing, right? So here, if you see here, single channel, let me explain all the 4 different buckets. Single channel are typically guys with a store and customers walk into a store. And if the store is closed, there's no sales happening. If the store is open, the sales happen, and the store can only service to the a desired number of locality here, right? That's a single channel. I think most of the guys are predominantly single channel or multi-channel, right? Okay, multi-channel, if you see here, there is a store where you sell items, and there is also equally an e-commerce website, let's say, that sells independently, right? And let's say there is also a mobile, either WhatsApp for business or Instagram for business, InstaShop, or an mobile application that also sells parallelly. So which means I am a customer of your e-commerce website, or I'm a customer of your mobile application, or I'm a customer of your physical retail shop, right? Now these three happen individually. So which means I'll give you a standard example here. If I come into your retail showroom and I tell you, hey, I bought a product from your e-commerce website, right? And I have a doubt in it or a query in it or etc. Your store manager or your store supervisor will not be able to recollect my name and details, my customer details from your CRM, right? Because all these three are independent function, right? Now, most of the retailers, what they do is they have a retail shop, they have an e-commerce website, but there is nothing that interlinks them. So a customer for retail shop is different, and a customer for your desktop or your mobile app is completely different, right? In that case, it's very difficult to kind of achieve that omni-channel ecosystem. So the most of the retailers, at least 80% of retailers, are multi-channel, right? The moment you go e-commerce, the moment you have a mobile application, doesn't make you an omni-channel. So I need you to understand it very, very right here, right? Okay. Now, what is cross-channel here? Okay, cross-channel is where I can choose between your desktop or your mobile or your physical retail showroom, and I can choose to transact with any one of these, right? But in this cross-channel case, mostly the inventory is kind of connected, okay, or the CRM is connected, right? Because of which I'll be able to see all the stocks that you have and etc. One classic example here is I come to your retail shop and I tell you, hey, I saw your item listed in your e-commerce. Please give me that. And your retail showroom guy says, hey, we don't have it, right? So it's connected, but it's not basically interlinking or talking to each other, or the inventory is not shared, or the CRM is not shared, and etc. That's what is called a cross channel, right? So multi-channel and cross channel are very thin line margins, and only then comes the omni-channel. Okay, so omni-channel is where your all the systems within your technology ecosystem talks to each other, right? So any retailer can only move from a single channel to a multi-channel, and then he connects everything to a cross channel and eventually becomes a multi-channel. That's how the whole journey starts. It's not like a company was single channel till yesterday and today they are suddenly omni-channel. No, you first start by putting up a e-commerce website, maybe a Shopify or a Magento. Then you realize you need a CRM and an inventory management. Then you purchase a CRM and an inventory management. Okay, and then you realize you need to be there on Google listing, Google Merchant Center, product listing app. Then you do that. Okay, then slowly by this time you see you have grown from a single channel retailer into almost a multi-channel and a cross channel. The last but the most important step is when all these data points talk to each other, only then it becomes an omni-channel. Like Pratik beautifully told here that when somebody has a look at his ads in Google, he's able to retrieve the IP address, and there is a CRM system that can immediately jump on a call with the customer and try and understand his requirement and can ship it to him, right? So his marketing function, his CRM, and his sales and his e-commerce are connected here. Now that's a true evolution of omni-channel, right? It takes time to go there, but one step at a time, right? So that's the difference between a single channel, multi-channel, cross-channel, and omni-channel, right? So, and like Mr. Shah again rightly said, you need not be an e-commerce company. So a lot of retailers think they suddenly need to become an e-commerce company. No, they suddenly need to be a tech guru or a digital guru to become an e-commerce player. No, you can still be a retailer, but you just need to know what to do and how to do, and you can get the talent and you can put up the infrastructure to make sure your business moves into an omni-channel over a period of time, right? I hope you guys understand about the difference between omni-channel, cross-channel, multi-channel, etc. Right? Okay. Now, if you look at 1 second, yeah. Okay. Now, if you look at this particular slide, let's try and understand what a true omni-commerce, omni-channel means, right? Okay. So if you see here, how do you create an omni-channel marketing strategy? Is omni-channel is all about customer importance, right? Customer experience matters the most. Now, let's take an example. If there is a retailer who has 2 branches and he also has an e-commerce site, I purchase in his e-commerce, but I come and try and return the product because I don't like the product, or it's of a different size or not my specification. Then I try to return in any of his physical store. And if he says, oh, you bought it online, you only need to return it online, right? Now, what will the customer experience be? It's bad, right? So I will typically tend to not shop from that retailer ever again, right? So you need to understand, going to an omni-channel structure means it's a customer-centric approach. I really respect Jeff Bezos and what Amazon has achieved, because whenever you want to return, there's no question asked, right? Whenever you want to purchase, it's very seamless. Customer happiness, customer satisfaction, customer happiness is the epicenter around which the entire company and the culture is being built. So that's pretty much the first step, right? And then you're looking at understanding your customers, and then following by implementing the right tools. You need various tools to do this, right? So there is an e-commerce that you need, there is a mobile application that you need, that's a CRM that you need, right? That's a communication tool that you need, etc., etc., right? So then you segment your target audience, then you be proactive across all the platforms, and the most important, have the right metrics. If I ask you retailers, what's your burn rate for running a store, what's your rent, what's your salary, you will be able to give that numbers straight away out of the fingers, right? But if I ask you, what is the right amount of money that you need to spend for building a website, what should be your marketing budget for taking your brand online, and what should be your customer success cost, most of you might not be able to answer that, right? So it's very, very important that as a businessman, you, before going online, before going digital, before going omni, you need to understand the economics around it. Without knowing the economics, you will end up wasting a lot of money and not achieving the great results, right? Okay, now if an omni-channel experience is enabled, what's the outcomes? If you see here, there is an established 10% increase in customer spend, right? And 73% of customers will shop with you using multiple channels. So there is an interim benefit in a lot of omni-channel ecosystem, and that's why if you see these brands on the right side, Van Heusen, Adidas, Lenskart, Zara, Pepperfry, right, are truly omni-channel solutions here. Okay, so let me take an example of Lenskart. If I purchase a frame in Lenskart and the lens doesn't fit me, I can walk into any of the Lenskart showroom and return it anywhere. Right now, what sort of a customer experience is that? It's beautiful, right? Take Zara, for example. I buy a shirt or I buy a pant, and if it doesn't fit me right when I order online, I can go return it in any Zara across the world, not only in India, right? Across the world. That's where a true omni-channel is being enabled here, right? So the moment you go omni-channel, your customer experience is at the highest. And I think we are in the time where customer experience enables a lot of sales. I don't think money is not much of a matter anymore, right? Because people want to have the OnePlex phone, people want to have iPhones, people want to have the best car. Okay, so I don't think people are cringy for money anymore, at least on the online customer segment. But if you give a great customer experience, I think they wouldn't mind that extra premium that you would like to have it on your website, right? So that's the understanding that I want to put you guys, behind these brands and how an omni-channel gets enabled and etc. Right? So this is a line that I would like to hear. So the modern consumer wants the freedom to research, shop, and pay for products across multiple channels. An omni-channel solution refers not only to merchants' ability to meet these needs, but in doing so integrates the various customer engagement channels to provide a seamless customer experience. Okay, so what we do there is, today it's very important for you guys to understand a customer journey. The moment I want to purchase something, especially post-COVID, what we do is it all starts with a Google research, or in fact, even some guys go to Amazon and try and find a product. If I need to buy an AC, for example, I just go to Amazon, find an AC, I try and find out what's an Onida AC price, what's a Samsung AC price, what's an LG air condition price, and etc. I also go to Google, compare between 2-3 sites. So your purchasing decision is not in the showroom, it's not in your show, it's already there in the search, right? So which means if you're looking for to convince your customer, you need to make sure that you are there when they are searching. That's very important, right? Because when they are searching, they find a lot of brands online, and they find a lot of rates online. If you aren't there, according to them, you're not competing in the market that they want you to be there, right? So that's very important. So you need to be there starting from the search, okay? And then they come to your website, or they come to a physical shop, or they call and inquire, or they video shop, or they, let's say, they order in your live chat, whatever it is, or WhatsApp, or etc., right? And then is when all the channels has to be rightly married to each other. So I need to come to WhatsApp and ask you for, hey, air conditioner price. So unless your WhatsApp is connected to one WhatsApp ecosystem, which is in turn connected to an inventory, I will not know whether I have the stock, I will not know whether I have the price, or you will not be able to give instant answers to the customer, and maybe you will get back to him in the next 2 days by the time he has already purchased it somewhere, right? So the first important aspect about going to omni-channel experience is, take a piece of paper, write down the customer journey, right? Are you into a product where people have no other option rather than to just walk into your showroom and buy it? Or are you into a product market where people can search, research, and then make the purchasing decision fairly online, and then come to you for the settlement, right? That's two different aspects, right? So make sure you plot your customer journey, and then you need to understand which all tools you need to implement there. So understanding the customer journey becomes the key aspect of omni-channel. Just because you're a retailer, just because your sales have gone down post-COVID, just like that, getting into an e-commerce site doesn't make sense, because e-commerce site is going to incur some cost, is going to incur some time, efforts, and money for you to get that infrastructure built. So make sure your customer journey is right, and if your digital enablement has to fit into your customer journey, right? So that's the key aspect or the first step, right? Okay. Now moving on to the next one. So that's the difference between a multi-channel and an omni-channel, right? So if you see a multi-channel, it acts as separate silos. But if you look at omni-channel, everything is interconnected. Like for example, you go to Lenskart. Lenskart today uses Facebook Messenger as an order management system. It uses Facebook Messenger as a support system. Like you can track your order using Facebook Messenger. You can order a new glass using Facebook Messenger. So that's how they've enabled it. So which means they're using a Facebook backend tool where they have connected the Facebook with an e-commerce site, and e-commerce site is talking to the inventory management. Your inventory management knows the price, the customer details, and etc. So it's an interlinked channel, right? So that's when the true omni-channel kind of brings in here, right? So I want you guys to remember very, very well that even if you have all the technology, because I know most of the retailers have an SMS blast, SMS tool, they have a WhatsApp marketing tool, right? They have a call center, they have a mobile, they have a website, they have a store. That doesn't mean you're omni-channel unless all your systems can talk to each other, right? That's the key difference between a multi-channel and an omni-channel experience here, right? Right. Okay. Now, why do I need to go to an omni-channel experience? Why can't I be a multi-channel experience, right? Okay. Number one, it optimizes engagement, right? So what we mean by that is customer engagement is the key, right? So your customer could today pop up on a WhatsApp and tomorrow go to a Facebook Messenger, or tomorrow, day after tomorrow, go to your Shopify website, and suddenly they might even call your call center and finish the sale. But are you in a position to track all these journey? Now imagine if somebody calls your call center like that, if you have the entire history of this person searched in your e-commerce for so-and-so product, this person chat with your WhatsApp executive for so-and-so product, and then finally when you get the call, when you know their history, he's already mind blown, right? There you have already 90% on your sale there. So that's where it omni-channel optimizes their engagement. Or else what will happen is when, let me go to the previous slide here, or else what will happen is if I have interacted with your e-commerce website, and tomorrow, let's say when I come to your store and they don't even realize that I'm an existing customer, it's hurting, right? So that's very important for you to make sure that the solutions talk among themselves, right? And the next thing is meet high customer expectation, right? Because like it or not, some or the other player in your domain is already in advanced stages of omnifying their business in your domain itself, right? And so what happened is in the next couple of months or couple of years, the customer expectation is set for a certain level of experience, right? And if he or she don't get that experience in your store, in your retail, then he's going to be upset about it, right? So for you to meet your customer expectation in today's digital world, like Mr. Shah was again saying that his grandfather is using Paytm at the age of 84, and if your store doesn't accept a Paytm, then look at it, right? So people have an expectation today, so you need to meet the expectation today. So for people pre-COVID who went to omni-channel, great for their maturity. For people who are right now taking action because of COVID, well and good. For people who do not take an action to become omni-channel, then tomorrow comes your phase of, will I even sustain in your business, right? Will I even sustain in my business? So that's the question mark. So you need to enable omni-channel to make sure you meet the customer expectation. It obviously enables better service because all your data is interconnected. So you know what is the customer journey and you'll be able to give them the overall better service. Now take Zara, for example. Imagine you able to return or change or transact your service at any of Zara store across the world. That's a great service, right? And then it provides actionable data as well. If you do not become a true omni-channel, if all your system doesn't talk to each other, you don't know repeat customers, you don't know what are the customers, how much did the customer spend on WhatsApp, how much did he spend on our e-commerce, how much did he spend on the POS or to your retail shop. If you don't club this data, then you're not able to have a collective dashboard and you're not able to take decisionable data based on the experience over here. Because of which, if you're going digital, you will not be able to arrive at a metric of how what 1 rupee of marketing will bring you in terms of return. If you don't have enough data to collate, then you will not be able to arrive at drafting a great marketing or a digital spending plan here. So that provides a very good actionable data. That's one of the 4 reasons why you should go omni-channel here, right? Okay, now let's jump into looking at what are the 7 factors and what are the 7 steps you could take as to take your business to omni-channel, right? Okay, let's look at the 7 steps one by one here. Okay, number 1 is omni-channel, understanding the omni-channel customer. So here it all starts by understanding your customer. If your customer is not online, if your customer is not searching your product on a Google or an Amazon. If your customer is not using a smartphone efficiently for shopping and etc., then the question comes down to, do you even want to go omni-channel, right? Because it's not for that particular target. For example, let me put it really lame, right? I don't search for buying, let's say, or my evening snacks in Google, right? So I rather go to a shop nearby. So is that necessary for that shopkeeper to go omni-channel? Not necessary. So understanding your customer, and if your customer is online, if your customer is on a specific user journey, then if you feel you're missing out on the customer, then is when you need to go for your omni-channel enablement. So it all starts with understanding your customer, right? Because we live, as mentioned in the slide, we live in a buyer controlled market. Buyer has way too many options, and today's buyer don't mind in spending a little premium. Today's buyer don't mind for waiting a day or two more for their products to get delivered. Earlier, I need the product today, I need it right today. But today I'm open to ordering in Amazon Prime to get it tomorrow, or I'm okay with the 3-4 day delivery as well, as long as it makes really comfortable for me to shop out of home, right? So it's a buyer control market. So if it's a buyer control market, you're talking about a very competitive market here. So do you need to be there or not? It's a decision that you guys need to take, right? Then next come your search usage. You need to be able to use Google Trends, right? You need to be able to use Google Analytics. You need to be able to use Google Keyword Tool to try and understand whether people search for your product or not. And whenever these people search for your product, is your website there? Are you present there as a Google local listing maybe, or maybe Google Merchant Center, or a product listing ad? Okay, or by doing SEO on your website is on first page. Are you really there when people are searching for it? Question mark. Now you need to start thinking on that terms, right? Because no point in setting up an omni infrastructure and you're not being found during the search. Then you're losing on a lot of customers. So is your SEO strong? Is your Google local listing strong? Is your review strong? Right? So that's where the search basically finds over there. Next comes your social media. Social media, I'm not talking about what a lot of people do these days. Just randomly put some post on Facebook page and get some 3-4 likes. That's not going to help your business. That's not going to help your business at all, right? Now, have you, these 3 question mark, have you first of all connected your Facebook, Instagram? Have you connected your Facebook and Shopify, or Facebook and Magento, or your Facebook and e-commerce, right? Have you connected your Facebook and WhatsApp, right? Have you made them talk to each other, or are you using Facebook separately, Instagram separately? You're posting one here, posting one there, and your post is not reaching anywhere? No. If you're using Facebook only for posting, I'm sorry guys, I think you're losing out on a really large chunk of market, right? So you need to basically interconnect all these, integrate a Facebook store, and tomorrow also integrate InstaShop when it opens up here. And you need to make sure your inventory is also available on Facebook. So that's how you create an integrated ecosystem. And Facebook is good enough for you to get orders also, and even Instagram in that case, right? And people can have a look at your product on Facebook, click on message you, and message can directly pop into your WhatsApp for business if you have connected Facebook and WhatsApp, right? So are you using social media to the fullest effectiveness? And then comes your paid ads on, because I think Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising especially is a very, very cost-effective manner to get new customers and acquire new customers, because you can go targeting. If you're in the space of selling bridal jewelry, you can target women in the age group 21 to 30 who are in the marriage group. If you're into baby products, you can look at people not marketing to newborn new mothers and etc, etc. So social media allows targeted advertising. I think you need to leverage on that, right? And fourth, reviews play a major role. If I come to your e-commerce and if I don't find reviews on your own website for your own product, then I get a mind perception that nobody has purchased this product before, and I'm not ready to be the risk taker, right? We go and buy, but before we go to a restaurant, we have a look at Zomato, and even with respect to Uber, we look at the Uber drivers rating, right? And even when it comes to Amazon, we're looking at the product reviews here. If there are no ratings, we get a feeling that the product is not sold, and I definitely don't want to be the first risk taker here, right? So make sure there is a review strategy that accumulates review on a regular basis. And if you're a plain retailer, brick and mortar retailer, give some incentive program to your sales guys, supervisors, and your managers to make sure that it is equally their responsibility to get more reviews on board, right? And today, just to give you an indication, an average review cost is approximately 25 rupees, right? So to acquire each review, we have to spend approximately 25 rupees is the basic thumb rule. A review's cost is 25 rupees. So it's worth, right? So you need to work on that. So understanding the first omnichannel customer. Second, right? Having an integrated payment channel, right? I know a lot of you guys use POS. Okay, but I go to some shop, they don't have a Google Pay, but the supervisor collects the money in I see the supervisor collecting the money in his own personal Google Pay and transferring it to company account, right? Etc, 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 right? Payment channels need to be integrated as well. right? And today, I think with a burst of the number of POSs, Paytms, Google Pays, card machines, NFCs, and etc. Do you have enough and more payment channels to make sure your customers are this thing? How many of you guys are using WhatsApp for business and also have UPI enabled in WhatsApp, right? How many of you guys are integrated your Google Pay with your e-commerce website and etc., right? How many of your guys' e-commerce site have a Google Pay, a UPI option, etc. So your payment channels are very, very important because 15 purchases are made purchase online, and especially post COVID, the cash on delivery, the cash handling has come down drastically. So your payment channels has to be really, really less. So there are companies like PayU, Razorpay, CC Avenue, and Stripe and whatnot, right? So I think payment plays a very vital role in terms of enabling you to go omni-channel. Yeah, and I also know a lot of payment guys who come with the loyalty program as well. We'll talk about that. Okay. Now, factor number 3 is number 1, smartphone. Okay, there are 2 statistics here. I love them. If you see here, on an average, people check their phones 150 times a day, right? And almost spend 177 minutes. It's almost close to what? Almost 2 hours and 45 minutes almost on a smartphone. And 87% of users have it side day and night. And 82% of them are using their phone for shopping, even in store. Even I do that. I go to a store, I ask for the price, I check out I immediately go to Amazon, I see if they have a good price or a competing price there, and I show to the shopkeeper saying, hey, this is my price, why don't you kind of match it, and etc., right? So smartphone has become mandatory for the purchase decision, right? So the question comes down to, are you going not to be present in the smartphone when people are searching for it and making purchase decision? Or are you going to let people check out prices and come to you and say, hey, you know what, online its the price is slightly cheaper, will you come and give it or not? So how do you take your business to smartphone? There are multiple ways. Number 1, start with your basic. Make sure your website is responsive, but it all starts with that. Even if it's an e-commerce site or a non-e-commerce site, that's fine. But as long as your website is responsive, as long as it opens up seamlessly on a mobile, that is your first step towards enabling it to smartphone. Not necessarily you need to have a mobile app on day 1, right? It can come over a period of time. But is your website responsive enough? Okay. Number 2, when people are searching for near me, shops near me, retail showrooms near me, or electronic showroom near me, or whatever it is, right? So is your Google listing enabled well, right? Because Google listing, if you don't have an optimized website, will push you behind, right? So when I search in mobile, and near me happens more than mobile. If you don't have a responsive website, if you don't have an SEO in place, when I search for the near me, I will not be able to find you here, right? So that's the number 2. And have you connected your inventory with the Google Merchant Center, right? So because I was speaking to Basics founder CEO Mrs. Satar a couple of days back, we were discussing about how a lot of retailers are not efficiently utilizing Google Merchant Center or product listing ads. All you need to do is connect your GMB with your inventory so that whenever people search for a product, not only Amazon, Flipkart, but if I'm searching for a product in Andheri, for example, a small brick and mortar store from Andheri, if he had connected his inventory with GMB, I will get his product also listed as a commerce in the top. And then I click on him, I directly it opens up the showroom local listing page. I get to know his phone number, address, and etc. Right? We haven't started that, right? So smartphone doesn't necessarily mean you build a mobile application. Please, I'm not trying to tell that. Start by a responsive website. Start by making sure the local listing is great. Start by making sure that you have inventory, you have integrated your inventory with your Google Merchant Center so that Google knows what products you're dealing with. Now, I think I'm sure you guys will agree. A lot of you guys, Google knows your store name. Google knows when you're open or when you're shut down. Google knows your phone number. Google knows your location. But does Google know your products that you deal with? I'm thinking 90% of you will say no, right? Then what's stopping you from integrating a Google Merchant Center and your inventory, right? It's just an API connect. If you do that, then if I search near me, your products also get listed as as a product result in GMB. So then if you run a product listing ads, you can use ads online to enable traffic to offline, right? But a lot of retailers are actually not utilizing to that. So smartphone is a very, very powerful device. Don't think mobile app when I talk about smartphone. Think of simpler methods by using which you can basically target that 87% of smartphone users who are using it for making purchasing and shopping decisions. So that's what I mean by here, right? Okay. Then we're also talking about cross-border payment integration, right? So one of the input, likely Mr. Shah for Specsmakers, what he told was, now sitting out of Chennai, being a very Chennai-oriented company, I think he was saying his 20% of sales is coming from Mumbai, right? So we are talking about slowly cross-border and eventually multinational. Now he's wanting to, I like his dream. He's having an ambitious dream of getting the US market, right? So sitting out of India, being an Indian e-commerce, he could leverage our price point and start selling stuff in US, start selling stuff in UK, start selling stuff in Singapore, Malaysia, right? Now that's what true omnichannel can enable for that. So you are not restricted to your showroom size anymore. You're not a 500 square feet or 1,000 square feet or a 5,000 square feet showroom anymore. But when you go omni, and if you do it right, the whole world becomes your market, right? And when you do that, do you have your cross-border integrations like your logistic integration for international? Do you have your cross-border payment, right? If there is a US customer who's ready to pay it in dollars, are you having the payment gateway to enable that? Right now, that's what we mean by here. So one of the easiest solution for that is again Shopify. Shopify has a very mature payment ecosystem. You just need to put in plugin and add more pin codes of delivery, and within a few clicks, you can open up your website to a larger e-commerce market like Middle East, for example, or US, UK, for example, and stuff like that, right? So like Asia Pacific is definitely becoming a very large global online market, even if you don't want to do cross-border multinational. But I think if you're in Chennai, I think you should dream of Bangalore, Bombay. If you're in Bombay, you should dream of Hyderabad, Delhi, and etc. You can outgrow your city, right? You do it right within your city first, and then slowly work your way out. So no more this, I can only purchase from my area and etc. If I like a stuff from an Hyderabad shop, I should be able to buy it sitting out of Chennai. That's where the world is moving towards. So that plays a vital role again in omnichannel enablement, right? Okay, now factor 5 is customer service and data management. So this is where tools like Freshworks, who's sponsoring the entire retail tech series, or your CRM, your WhatsApp backend management tool, your analytics tool, etc., come into consideration, right? Okay, now I think I covered this point last week as well, but let me repeat that here. I know a lot of retailers sitting and managing SMSs manually, sending email blasts manually, right? Now, when you could automate a lot of stuff, why do you want to do things manually? You can rather waste your time and energy on doing productive stuff rather than wasting it on manually sending this. So your customer service and data management becomes very important. Okay, how much you know about your customer, right? Especially if you take a repeat customer phase, for example. If you know somebody is buying a smartphone, right? In the next 2 years there is a high probability for him or her to change the smartphone, right? If you sell a car, in the next 4 to 5 years there is a high chance of him or her buying a new car. So for this to happen, you need to make sure that you need to leverage your customer and data management. Insurance companies does this really well. They know when your data is maturing, they know your birthday, they know your anniversary day, they throw wishes, they try to keep you happy, and 1 month before your premium gets expired, they start calling you and they say, hey sir, your insurance premium is going to get over. So which means they know a lot of things about your customer. But we retailers, we have been taking our customer walk-ins for an advantage. And now when suddenly no walk-ins are come, we haven't even stored the customer data properly. And we have been using Excel sheets or notebooks, worst case. And now we are not able to leverage repeat customers from our previously, service customers for the last 2 decades, right? Now, that's a very bad situation to be in. So if you start managing your data and customer service properly, you can collect a lot of customer data, know more about their family, give customized loyalty coupons, right? Give customized coupon codes, and make sure you wish them regularly. Automate a lot of things. Like you can't imagine a Lenskart founder sitting and sending manual SMS, manual emails. It's automated there. Then why can't we get that done, right? It's again very easy. There's a lot of tools for doing it, and etc. So that becomes very important because the world is more. I'm sure Mukesh Ambani ji also been emphasizing on it quite a bit. That data is the new oil, right? Data is the new oil, not only for Jio. It's even for us, smaller business like us, because we all know it costs 80% more to get a new customer than to do a repeat sale from an existing customer, right? By throwing some kind of an offer, some kind of a buyback, and etc. But a lot of us don't even have a basic CRM in place. Okay, now how do we get this whole thing done? Step 1, just type with the CRM, and the CRM software doesn't necessarily mean you need to spend a couple of lakhs or few thousands on it. No, today with the birth of SaaS products, you can sign up your CRM for a pay per month model where you pay from as low as 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees per month, right? And you can completely make sure that your data is all managed. So CRM will help relieve a lot of this automation work and etc., right? So that's where the customer service and the data management comes into role, right? Okay, now again, sorry, I almost missed a point. The whole reason why this point is very important is look at this small quote, the quote here. By 2020, customer experience will overtake price and product, which is absolutely true. Even if I find a website where a product is even cheaper than Amazon, I wouldn't mind purchasing in Amazon because the customer experience is damn easy. I come, I look at, I compare, I pay, I check out, and I keep moving forward, right? So by 2020, customer experience will overtake price and product, right? Gone are the days where the online used to be a discount game. I think with the current bills and etc. that's been passed by central government, mostly the e-commerce and the offline prices are pretty much the same, right? Then why people still try to purchase in e-commerce? Because the price is anyways equal, and delivery is definitely going to take a day or two more. But why do still people buy that? Because of the customer experience. Because I buy as a lazy man, I can stay out of my home and still order, right, without having to put much of an effort. So customer experience becomes a primary key. If any company that has actually become successful in the omni-channel space because they have a very nicely crafted customer experience, journey. That's why they need to do that. So which means your website has to look good. Your website has to be easy. Finding you should be easy. Finding what products you have should be easy, right? Comparing you and competitors should be easy. You should not be in a separate silos where I'm not able to decide whether you're the right guy to deal with, right? So that's the point I want to make in this slide. Okay, moving funnel. Okay, now factor 6 is one of the very less spoken about point when it comes to omni-channel, right? When you start to rely more on the digital solutions, equally your security also has to become very important, right? How many times have we heard about news saying Amazon was compromised, they took away 10 million credit cards, they took away 5 million credit cards, Airbnb was compromised, and etc., right? So as and when your solutions grow, your security also has to be important. Now security is less of a headache if you go with standard market solutions like Shopify, Magento, or Freshworks, where these companies have put years of research of R&D into making sure their solution is very secure. Because the least that can happen is somebody compromising your data, or your competitors compromising your data, or some hackers running away with the credit cards that's stored in your website, or the customer details in your website, and etc., right? So security becomes a most important aspect. Now this is very important for people who are trying to build a custom solution, a custom omni-channel solution, etc. But rather for retailers who are trying to choose an existing solution like Freshworks, like a Shopify, or like a Magento, where the security has already been taken care, then we need to worry about this list. But think always from a security aspect, because nobody will want to transact in a website where the security is compromised. If Google Chrome or your Safari or your Internet Explorer, if you go to a website and if it flashes site risk, or if the website is without an SSL, right, we will not transact in the website, right? But I have seen a lot of e-commerce site, really good looking, very well done websites, not having an SSL. That's very stupid, right? So you need to make sure you need to have your SSL, because with online comes certain risk. So you need to give the comfort to your users that you're a very secure company to transact with. Okay, last but not the least is Agile strategy. Okay, now what is Agile is very simple. Agile is more of a culture. Okay, Agile is a culture where you are very flexible to form something, or very flexible to adapt things as you go forward. Now, right, Mr. Shah from Specsmakers told his journey kind of started last December, right? And he did not know anything about digital, right? So he started something, moved forward, added something, moved forward, added something, moved forward, learned something, moved forward. That's what is called Agile. Agile is a very software term. Okay, but I think time has come for retailers also to start learning it. So the meaning about Agile is you're not very fixed and rigid. You're ready to experiment. For example, you might Shopify is a great platform, but you might experience Shopify and you say, hey, I don't know, I don't think Shopify suits me better, and you might move to Magento. That's what is called Agile, right? So what is required for the business to be successful? You keep moving it from solution to solution, and within a span of couple of months, you get to understand, hey, these are the solutions that I will build my business upon. I'm pretty sure even Mr. Shah, before landing on Shopify, he would have thought about 10 different technologies on e-commerce, and finally would have landed out on Shopify, right? So that Agile is very important. You need to be very flexible in terms of your technology, and not only technology, but I'm talking about CRM, payment solutions, and etc., and stuff like that. So some of the important aspects here are this. Number one is the CRM software, which is very important. Number two is the video conferencing solution if your business demands it. Okay, third is your email service provider, where you need to send bulk emails and etc. Fourth is the marketing automation, because if you can't think to go big pan India, you can't look forward to go a pan India company when you're actually sitting and shooting mail blasts manually, right? So your marketing has to be automated, right? Customer wishes has to be automated. Transaction message has to go. right? So then comes your print material solutions, then your data visualization. If I ask you, hey, what's your online spend, right? So your website development cost plus online marketing cost plus your CRM cost all put together plus your marketing cost, for every 1 rupee are you making profit? So your data, unless you have the data, you'll not be able to do that. So your data has to be in terms of visual in front of you, right? And last is your content management system, wherein you can modify all the content of your entire platform things, right? Okay, so that's it. So here, if you look at it here, so that's the kind of the omni-channel framework. So if you see here, what are the various engagement channels we're looking at? Social media, emails, website, mobile, print media, videos, voice, and POS. So these are the engagement channels where these are the customer facing channels. So now you can do a self-evaluation. Are you doing well in all these? Now take a pencil paper or screenshot this and put a priority here. Okay, which are you really good at? Number one, POS. Okay, maybe number two, e-commerce, or we might be weak on voice, we might be weak on email, and etc. Whichever you're weak, start working on. Okay, next is for a true omni-channel delivery, you need an interaction delivery service, which is about number one, advertising. Are you advertising on Google AdWords, Facebook AdWords, right? And then are you having distribution partners and delivery partners to make sure your products are can reach your customers? Okay, then comes your e-commerce. We have a very powerful e-commerce. And then comes your contact center, where if people have queries about your e-commerce or your, do you have a specific call center to answer to your stuff? Now that's the interaction. Again, you need to put tick, 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 tick on this. If you don't have tick on any of this, then you need to start working on this. Then comes your content and engagement management services, service support, CRM, social engagement, marketing automation, web content management, and DAM and MBAM. Now this content and engagement management layer are a month-on-month activity, right? You need to keep servicing your customers on a month-on-month. You need to acquire customer data on a month-on-month. Social engagement, social media marketing, you need to do on a month-on-month. Email, month-on-month. Web page management, month-on-month. So this layer, the third layer, is a month-on-month, kind of an activity that you need to again check off here. If you don't have any of this, then you need to start working on those. Okay. Then last but not the least comes your enterprise foundation, which is the difference between a small organization and a large enterprise, right? Now, do you have a proper omni-channel platform? Freshworks, I think they have a product offer, though they are going to demo you the product. And there are a couple of other products, or like Omni, Bolt 360. There are a lot of products here, okay, which can basically get this whole thing done. It integrates everything. So what about your operational hubs, campaign scheduling, your journey, customer journey orchestration, omni-channel platform, your customer data platform? Then comes the larger side of things, right? So you can start from top to bottom and slowly work towards it. Immediately, if you look at the last two layers, you will get scared. Don't be. Start by ticking off the first layers first, then the second layers first, then the third layers, and eventually go to the fourth. Lenskart was not built in a day. Specsmakers again was not built in a day. Or take Van Heusen, Adidas, or any other omni-channel player, again was not built in a day. It was a good transition. Some companies find it really successful to do it in 6 months. Some companies take even 2 years to do that, right? And last is your reporting, analytics, predictive modeling. The beauty about omnicommerce is if you have surveyed in omnicommerce for a good 8 to 10 months, then you'll be able to start predicting sales, right? Okay, last month was so much of data. And what is your next month prediction? Okay, now we're looking at next month around 15,000 sales. Okay, now how do you push that 15,000 to 20,000 sales? That's how you kind of look at it, right? So that's how the whole omnichannel ecosystem works. Okay, now not necessary that a retailer has to understand everything in the omnichannel framework, right? Maybe social media you can understand, e-commerce you might be able to understand a bit, POS you understand obviously, inventory you will be able to understand obviously. Wherever you don't find, you don't have a bit of understanding, please try and find some experts. I really appreciate Mr. Shah for bringing somebody new on board on the CXO level to handle the digital side of things, because that's a scope that is going to greatly benefit Specsmakers as well. So whichever area where you feel you don't have enough knowledge about, please feel free to call up consultants, inquire third-party companies, freelancers or software consultants, experts, and etc. to get some professional help, okay, in terms of analyzing which tool will work for you best and do the integration and etc. So if you're not able to study technology by your own, please make sure you find a nice technology expert to travel with you on this journey. There are enough and more people available, but make sure they are also excited with your vision. They have the experience of having done omnichannel in the past and can surely help you. Just because he's a web developer doesn't mean make him a tech guy, right? So you need to make sure somebody has enabled omnichannel and he or she can really help in terms of taking your business into a complete omnichannel expertise here, right? So I think I've covered pretty much it. And one thing I would like to finally, before concluding, I would like to say that there is no one software. Yeah, there are softwares, but don't expect all the omnichannel function to be solved by one single software. You might have to work with 10 different tools. But the omni-channel key is when you're able to integrate all the 10 different tools and make sure all the tools talk to each other and ensure that you have a seamless experience amongst all, right? So that's my final catch for the stay safe for the day. So Bala, off to you. Thank you guys. Thanks for being a patient audience.
Thank you, Santhosh. I'll request you to stay back for the Q&A in the end, and I hope you had a wonderful 45 minutes of talk from Santhosh, and you can whoever liked it, you can put awesome on the chat box as we move to the next session. So now I bring on Mr. Fredrick of Freshworks, who will be also taking you through the Omni platform that Freshworks offers. And as you know, Omni-Channel is two things. One is you have a 365-degree view of your stock, wherever it is, and also have a 365-degree view of the customer. So, Fredrick, over to you, and we'd like to hear from you on what Freshworks is offering for Omni-Channel. Fredrick, you will have to unmute. We can't hear you.
Sorry, yeah, I was talking on mute. Yeah, thank you for the introduction, Bala. So good evening, everybody. So let me start sharing my screen and we'll get things started. So as you all can see my screen, so this is Fredrick and I am a solution expert at Freshworks, where we work with different businesses from different verticals to implement our solutions to them. And today I would be covering the retail vertical as to how Freshworks would help retail segment in terms of the omni-channel support. And we'll probably go through the journey and I'll show you a quick demo as to how this entire ecosystem works inside our product suite as well. So I'll just stop my video and I'll continue, right? Yeah. Right. So right now, there are shifts happening in all the industry, right? And especially with retail as well. It's happening today and it's going to happen from now on, especially with COVID, a lot of things have changed. So what happens is that gone is the time when retail brands were actually looking out for differentiators in the product offering. Rather, the retail world has now, it has changed to an offering where the customer's experience is the superior part to it, right? And it also brings to you the fact where these customers are loyal and the customers are in fact buying from a specific retail brand. That's how the experience has changed, right? And especially after or post COVID, what you've also seen is that most of retail brands have now are traveling or are going on to an online category rather than from being offline as well. So it's very important for the retailers to as well go on online so that they gather their attention and capture the respective customers and continue your business or sales across these two platforms. So like Pratiksha said, I would like to also mention about Specsmakers, where, for example, what they have done is that they now give you an option, right, to try glasses using a 3D model of the customers for the customers, so that you don't actually have to go to a store, right? You get to feel the product with a 3D version of where you would be able to identify what kind of spectacles would suit you, and you can directly make a purchase there. That's done currently by Lenskart and as well as Specsmakers. So that's something that's happening, right? So what's happening because of this, that these brands are actually offering the facility to get actual in-store experience using their online platforms, right? And also another point to note here, right? In this specific industry, to offer superior customer experience, it's important that the brands know the customer attributes even before they list out what they need, right? So which means that it includes unifying the data across various channels. Which means again is that your customer information or your customers reaching out to you from different channels will all have to be on a unified platform, right? And that is where Freshworks comes into the picture in terms of providing you omni-channel support, right? We will give you a solution where, like Pratiksha and like what he said, you have different systems. You might probably have your e-commerce platform on Shopify, and then you might have customers reaching out to you from social media like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. You would expect all these journeys of your customers to directly come into one platform. And that's what we offer, right? So the engagement that we provide you is that you will have the entire context, or you'll get the contextual information about all your customers, right? Whether they're browsing online, or whether post sales, if they're reaching out to you for a refund through, let's say, email or through phone, all this journey is completely captured into one single UI. Probably when we talk about it, or when you think about it, there are multiple systems involved. The first thing that would probably go into your mind is, oh, this looks like a very complex system. So how will this entire solution look? So that's one of the reasons, or that's one of the major areas where Freshworks, really gathers a lot of attraction, where we provide you this platform. And the one reason why, or one of the main reasons why all our customers love us, is that the UI is beautiful and simple, right? You don't need any technical people to, to configure the products or to make these integrations. It's as simple as how a newborn baby, starts going to school, right? That's how interesting, or that's how the platform is catered, and that's how it's been built. So what happens with our solution is that all the touch points, right, of where the support is needed is captured by Freshworks, which means whether a customer has any inquiry, he wants to place an order on website, and post placing an order, he has some specific questions or queries regarding, hey, when will my order be shipped, or where is my order, I would like to cancel my order, can you give me a refund, I need to return. All these questions and all these platforms will be coming under one specific scenario and one specific product called as Freshdesk, which is nothing but an omni-channel solution. So I don't want to bore you out with a lot of PPTs, but I'll quickly show you a glimpse of how our products work, and how our customers are in fact using our products, and how we provide a wow, or how we create wow customer moments in the market for our customers, right? So let's take a small example, right? So let's take an example where a customer has purchased a specific boots. I mean, you've purchased a shoe online, and then this specific customer wants to run an exchange, right? He wants to exchange his product. How can they do it? Or there are different channels from how customers can reach out to you. So for example, let's say they are reaching out to you via email, right? So this customer writes to your support email address to find out if they'll be eligible for an exchange. As soon as they type this email, they'll quickly click on send. So what happens here, right? It's not about just going through the entire support journey, but rather you should also create moments where deflections are also created. That's where the wow experience of customers, or the wow experience of customer support also comes into the picture, right? Always have deflections, and always make sure that you have a platform where you also respond to these queries. So what has happened now is that there has been a response, automated response, that is in fact sent from Freshdesk. So what you see here is that it says that we've created an automatic ticket, which is ticket number 467. And through our AI intelligence, we are able to deflect this level of question initially. So before a customer wants to exchange their pair of shoes, do they want to see how usually returns work? Do they want to read about it? So through this, what happens is that as soon as the customer clicks on this read more, it takes them to a specific portal. So this portal is something that we provide in Freshworks, where this can again be another channel from where customers can reach out to you from. So look at this, right? So as soon as the customer comes in here, he's seeing these information saying that, okay, so these are some articles which tells them that how returns work. And now I think some of you would have noted is that on the right side, on this section, you see something saying that, was this article answer query? Did this answer your query? So what happens now here is this is a level of deflection that we are creating, right? It's not necessary that for every single answer, or for every single query, a support agent or your customer service agent has to respond. Am I correct? There are going to be cases where you can deflect article, or you can deflect these queries through these deflection methods that I currently showed you. So a customer can simply click on yes, close the ticket, which is ideally going to tell them saying that the ticket has been closed. And here there's a deflection where your agents, where your customer service agents, it's not needed for them to respond to this query, right? And now the other way, let's say now here, the other view is they can also create a ticket from this specific section, right? They can directly add their email address, right? They can add their email address, and you can configure all this. Let's say they have query on refund. right? And what they can simply do is they can simply click on submit, which is going to be another channel as to how tickets will be created. I'm sorry. Just give me a second. Sorry. Right. I'm just going to the other part here, right? So I'll just come to that. Sorry about that. Right. So I can directly click on submit this button where this will also create a ticket, right? And now what also happens at this point of time is that let's say the customer also has another specific query. That's where chatbots can also come into the picture. So through our bot solution, what you can also do is let's say a customer has a specific concern on saying that they're looking, they have an order delayed and they would want to find out where their shipment is, for example. So at this point of time they can directly go here and let's say on upon asking a specific question, the bot also has intelligence where it is also able to suggest some relevant articles, right? So this will be integrated with our knowledge base that we currently support in Freshdesk. So for example, the delivery of my order is delayed, what should I do? The customer can go through this, but let's say if this does not help, what can the customer do? They can directly click on this option called as the articles are not helpful, and at this point I can directly create a ticket with Freshdesk, or I can talk to a live agent, right? And this conversation automatically comes inside Freshdesk, through which for which I'll be showcasing it right away to you, right? So the message has been now transferred. Now let's go into the UI or the agent experience as to how these conversations or how these various platform queries come into the product, right? So right now, before I go into the panel, so this is where the omni-channel experience actually comes in, right? So on the chat platform, what was the specific query, whatever has come, this has automatically been populated here, right? And at this point of time, the agents can directly respond to conversations from here. So this is going to be one UI where you'll be receiving tickets from other sources like emails, and I'll also come to the social media in bit. And this is how chats also come in. So you're not going on to multiple product views, rather you're sticking onto one view and you're able to directly respond to these specific queries from here. So the agent can directly type in the respective query here. So what is the other part or other aspect as to how they can get the information about this specific customer? So I'm clicking this specific information. I can also see the various tickets that this specific customer has created. Or if I have to see their information, I can see their information over here. Now you might probably think, what or how can a chat also be used in a ticketing system, right? So here is the answer. Whenever a customer comes into a ticketing platform, it's about a chat platform, they're expecting instant responses. Rather, instead of providing instant responses, obviously there are going to be times when an agent probably needs some time to answer to a specific query. So that's where we can also resolve a conversation and create it as a ticket, right? and the agent can directly fill these respective modules, and he can probably assign it to a group, and he can directly click on save ticket as. This will now automatically have a ticket created as well. So we have two updates. So let's quickly see the tickets that we created. One was from email and the other one was from chat. Now, this was the source, or this was the ticket which was created via email. So if you see here, this shows you a small symbol of envelope, which is nothing but email. And similarly here, this shows you chat. Now let's quickly open the exchange choose part. Now, what also happens to an agent is that when you're creating deflections, right? When we created a deflection through email, we are also able to see, or the agent is able to see, the various articles or what was suggested to the customer, right? And it also tells me that the customer has actually seen this article, right? Which gives the agent to give that view or to make a response or send a response to the customer accordingly. And in this case, the customer wants a replacement. So how can I do this replacement, or how do I do it? That's where we come up with these various integrations. Like Pratik was talking about Shopify, Magento, and even for returns management, we have a specific integration that's already available. So for example, if I have to create a specific return within Freshdesk and not jumping off to different modules, I can directly place a new RMA request, or I can create a new return request from the product itself, right? So I can directly have this specific information populated here, and I can click on next. I'll quickly show you how this would work.
Fred, this quick time check. We already exceeded time, so just wanted to quickly remind.
Sure, yeah. So let's just say that I'm choosing a specific product. Right. So once I do this, I can directly go here, and I can directly click on. So I'm creating a return within the product itself, where you don't have to go on to multiple products as such, right? And at the minute I do this, the customer would also get an email about the respective return that is being placed. And not just that, when we are talking about refunds, so here the customer had a query about refunds. So with the Shopify integration that we have, you can directly schedule a refund for the respective orders within the Freshdesk platform itself. So for example, if I have to click on full refund, I can directly refund the entire product to the respective customer. So this is directly done within the platform itself, right? I'm able to do this directly. And what are the other channels, or how can Freshdesk also help, right? For example, if you also have to find out if a customer asks on a specific order status, I can directly do that via the specific platform called as ShipStation, where I can see the order status here, and it gives me the entire journey, right? To say what's the billing address and what's the status of the shipment from this product, from this integration as well, which is again done within the product. And I'm not moving out to any other solution as such, right? That's one part. Now, what happens to Facebook? So if a customer comments something on Facebook, or if they post something on Facebook, that also automatically gets captured here as a ticket, right? So we have the Facebook post, which automatically gets captured inside Freshdesk. So you are able to respond to these Facebook posts within the product itself. So you're again not going to your Facebook page. I'm doing it directly from here. And again, most of you might probably have shops on Instagram as well. How can I make use of Instagram as well? So let's say I have a specific query as a customer. They come here. They comment something on Instagram. Again, this is going to be created as a ticket directly inside Freshdesk, right? Which means that it's not needed for you to go to your Instagram page and directly respond to it. I can directly respond to Instagram queries as well from here, right? I can directly click on a reply and I can send the response. Right? I can do it. So one major thing that you should have noted here is that how are we capturing the customer experience, right? How are we capturing the touch points of the customer? It's through this timeline event that we are in fact capturing all the respective journeys of the customer. So this customer has reached out to us from chat. They've also come on through email. Even if they come from social media, I can, as an agent, I'll have the entire context about this conversation, right? I'll be able to directly have all this showcased and seen accordingly inside Freshdesk. And some of you might be using some telephony operators for your support, so for example, Nolarity, My Operator, Exotel. So you can also bring in your call system directly inside the product, and you'll be able to make calls and receive inbound calls within the product itself. And you'll also be able to create those conversation or call conversations as tickets within the platform as such, right? And also for your ad posts, even on Facebook, if you have any advertisement posts, you'll be able to respond to those advertisement posts within this platform itself, right? And a quick thing, how can you take, before we wind up, right, just 2 minutes, how can we take your e-commerce on mobile as well, right? How can you take your shopping experience on WhatsApp, right? So for example, this is something that we've done for a customer from a retail industry, where we are implementing this, or we've implemented this for their retail sector of making online purchase via WhatsApp itself. So for example, let's say I want to buy a specific product. I can directly go onto the specific section, and let's say I'm interested in specific mobile. So this journey is completely done via WhatsApp and connecting it with your backend systems, for example. And let's say I want to buy a specific brand. And let's say I am interested in buying a OnePlus phone. So I'm pressing 2 here. Right? Automatically, it's showing me the models that I would want to purchase. So I'm interested in the 8 Pro model. So I'm again pressing 1, for example. So this UI would actually be seen on your WhatsApp. So automatically it's listing out all the models on all the different variants that's available for this specific model. And it's also telling me if it's in stock or if it's out of stock. So this is out of stock. So here I see that this product is in stock. So I want to choose this product and I want to buy this specific product. How can I do it? I can directly press 4 here. I'll press 4 here, and this will directly take me to a checkout page. So now I'm okay to buy it. So I want to proceed to checkout. And upon clicking on proceed to checkout, I will actually get an order review, and I will also get a payment link through where I'll be able to directly make the payment. So I can directly go onto the specific website. I can add the respective information, and I can take the process directly from WhatsApp. And it's not needed that your customers will have to come on to come onto those respective websites and make the purchase as well, right? That's not needed. Similarly, when people were talking about being sellers on different marketplaces like Amazon, what I've also done is I have in fact made an integration that's possible with Amazon. So if you're selling products on Amazon, how can you capture your respective customer queries from Amazon? So if a specific end user buyer has a specific question, they would probably go into the respective ask the buyer a question, ask the seller a question. They'll post something directly there. So this conversation also comes inside Freshdesk as a ticket, where you're responding from Freshdesk to a specific ticket. I don't have to directly go onto a respective module, or I don't have to go into your Amazon seller portal to respond. I am doing this within the platform itself. So you might be present on multiple platforms, but I have one unique experience, or I have one place through where I'm able to respond to customers. It's just not these questions, but I can also pull in all the Amazon information that I also have here, right? I can see the list of Amazon order details as well within the Freshdesk platform as well. So this is typically where the omni-channel experience comes, right? You have one UI and you're making the entire process, you're supporting your customers, you're able to capture the customers from whatever module, from whatever channels they're coming across. So on a simple, if you see, all the UI experience is as simple as, as simple as you see. It's very simple. You don't have any complex. So it's just about directly going to this respective place and just typing in the respective response, like how you would respond to emails. And I would simply click on send. So this is how you will be able to support your customers from a unified solution, which is offering you one specific UI and all your channels, right from e-commerce platforms to your social media. Everything is integrated directly into a single system. So this is what I had for you today, to show you a brief as to how this will be done. But I'm very happy. I'll be happy if you want to have a discussion post this call for a full product demo, so that I can in fact show you how this entire journey itself will work together, right? So if you have any questions, you can very well ask me, and I'll be happy to take it up.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you. I think, as you rightly said, we'll have probably, the features are so good, and there's so many features that we need to probably organize a separate session for a run through of the Freshworks features. And this kind of gave us an overview of what all we can do in terms of Omni customer experience. Thank you, Fred, once again. And I think for the benefit of the audience, see, this is the third in the series of webinars that we are talking about retail tech, and Freshworks is the key sponsor for this webinar, and they have such a beautiful retail product that they will be showcasing it across all the 5 webinars itself, and across different technologies that we feel relevant. The next webinar is on August 20th, which is about marketing automation. And I'm sure you will be there and you will be able to see some of the work that we can do in marketing automation as well. And the last webinar is about all the different technologies. We saw WhatsApp, we saw marketing automation, we've seen Omni-Channel. How do we stitch it all together into a seamless experience for the customer and for the product is what we will be looking at in the final webinar, which is on 26th. So today, for lack of time, I think we will just take a couple of quick questions. I'll request Fred and Santhosh to come online on video, and then we can probably wind up for the day, and we of course re-meet again on the 20th. So Santhosh, yes, what is your opinion on WooCommerce over Shopify? So that's a question from Mr. Kiran Chelaram.
Yeah, okay. So WooCommerce, if somebody has a website that they have been using, which especially was in WordPress, and they're just looking for to go e-commerce, then going for WooCommerce is a better option. But if somebody is starting to create a new, e-commerce from start, then I think Shopify is slightly better there, because Shopify has a slightly mature ecosystem when it comes to e-commerce, slightly better than WooCommerce, right? Not that WooCommerce is a bad platform or something like that, but Shopify has a slightly evolved marketplace, which means when post e-commerce, when there's SEO tools required, when there's integrations required, a lot of these integration guys, live chat tools and etc. By default, they build a plugin for Shopify. They slightly tend to lose WooCommerce from the picture. They build it for Magento Marketplace and Shopify Marketplace, right? So it's like trying to choose a Windows phone and an Android phone. Android is definitely better because of the app and the ecosystem. So Shopify is slightly better that way.
So Fred, there's a question for you. So all the different product components of Freshworks, is it on one single dashboard that the retailer will be able to see?
Yes, in fact, that's where we are giving a unified platform where we have multiple products. Like the chat product that I showed you is a separate product, but our products are seamlessly integrated with each other. So at the end of the day, it will be one dashboard. It will be one UI from where you will carry out your entire process.
Okay, great. So wonderful. I think, unfortunately, that's the time we have got. I would like to bring in Mr. Lawerance, Director, Learning and Development and Memberships at RAI, to say the final words of vote of thanks, and also introduce quickly about Retail Association of India for the people who are here. And also, you have on your screen right now, it's for people who want to have a much deeper run through into the Freshworks product, and also probably try out a trial offer from Freshworks. You have a bit.ly which we will post on the chat. You can go and make an entry and ask for a trial offer, and we'll be connecting with you and probably run through with the product as well. So here you go. You have it on the chat box. So people who are interested to onboard on the Freshworks platform, please can use that. Now over to you,
Hello,
Lawerance. Okay, I think he's on a call. So yeah, over to you.
Yeah. Sorry. So thank you, Bala. Thank you, participants. I hope you had a excellent class, master class on this Omni-Channel for retail success. We had fantastic speakers. But before I thank them all, a brief update on, or maybe an introduction on what RAI is for some of you who do not know us. RAI is an unified body of all the major retailers in the country. So what we do is we work to ensure that we are creating the right environment for the stakeholders, which would lead to growth of the modern retail in the country. Okay, what we do is we are into 3 areas. We do a lot of advocacy. We work with policymakers. We work with government, semi-government bodies. We identify areas which need to be represented on behalf of these decision makers or retailers, and we collaborate with this entire ecosystem, which would also include international communities, so that we are able to create the right environment. Second is, with environment comes growth. Growth definitely means that we need to identify the necessary, identify skill gaps which are there in the entire ecosystem. And through our training programs, through our learning programs, through our graduate programs, and in our workshops, we are able to plug that gap which will lead to growth. What we also do is, since we represent about more than 500,000 plus retail stores across India, we also have something called industry creation. We do a lot of events. We do national events. We do events for CEOs. We do events for technologists. We do events for HR. We do events for supply chain. We do events for CFOs. What we also do is, since we are present in chapters across the country, we also have these small regional meets which happen, which help the regional players, the regional retailers identify their pain points, and we are able to work with them so that we are able to again achieve our vision mission, which I mentioned in the start. So in short, what we do is we connect, we converse, we collaborate, and we catalyze. So this is what we do. I have just keyed in my details. Should any of you want to become members, if you are not members, please feel free to connect with me. So as we come to the end, I would like to first of all, thank Mr.Pratik Shah of Specsmakers. His keynote was a fantastic. He set a very good tone on the entire subject. Very valuable insight. He had done something which was the need of the hour. Most of us would look forward to having him probably as a role model, and we would look forward to implementing. Santhosh, thank you for your valuable insights. I think you are now the master. For the past few months, you have been working with REI and with Blue Koi to ensure that we were identifying skill gaps and educating people, at least in the social media front. And I thank you and look forward to working continued support from you and your inputs on all our future webinars. Thank you, Santhosh. And Fredrick, Lawerance, your input on the solutions provided by Freshworks was great, very practical. I also would urge participants to definitely, get in touch with Fredrick so that you are able to, see how you can implement these solutions in the business, in your business. And before we end, thank you, Freshworks. With you, or rather without you, this program would not have been possible. So over to Bala. Thank you, Bala, for working with us, with REI.
Thank you, Lawerance. Thanks a lot, Santhosh. Thank you, Fredrick. Thanks to all of the attendees who have been, part of this webinar. And don't forget, we have the last two sessions coming up on August 20th, which is on marketing automation. Very interesting topic. And we're going to have Mr. Anirban, who's the marketing head of Wellness Forever, about 120 stores that they have in the West. He's going to talk about how he's connected marketing automation in Wellness Forever. And the last 26th, we have the final closing webinar on connecting the dots in retail technologies. We have Mr. Ravi Kanigati from Target India talking about technologies that matter for retailers and how you need to stitch it all together. So these are the next two webinars. Hope to see you there. And thanks a lot. Here's Bala signing off. Good evening and have a great evening, guys. Bye.